Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to Fire Emblem 5, Thracia 776, a brand new Let's Play. Not just any normal Let's Play, we're going to play Negative Growths for this one. I'm going to be uploading this series about twice a week, roughly, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. I am not doing it alone, of course. I am joined by the one and only original OG Raisins. How you doing?
Doing great. Glad to be on the show. I will say though, Original Raisins it's a name I had to choose because Raisins was taken. So just Raisins is sweet.
Oh, you're not the original Raisins. Oh, damn.
Okay, well I was the original Raisins. I just wasn't fast enough on Twitch, you know.
Fair enough. Before we begin, a couple of fundamentals. Goal of the playthrough is going to be to beat the game, and the extra challenge comes from negative growths. I will try to recruit most or all characters and play most or all chapters in the game, but there are a couple of exceptions that I'm considering skipping, and I'll go over that when it actually happens. Negative growths, what it means is the level ups reduce stats instead of increasing them like you're used to. So normally when a character levels up, they might gain like HP, strength, skill, speed. In my case, that doesn't go up, it goes down, so the game kind of gets harder as you go along, at least if you keep using the same characters. So we're going to have to swap characters a lot and do a lot of fancy stuff to keep it alive. I have an FE7 playthrough with the same concept, negative growth, from long ago, and I also have a lot of other Thracia content if you want to. I've played through Thracia on my channel several times for streams and Iron Mans and other challenge playthroughs, so this won't be your normal Thracia experience. I also won't be showing off the story because I've also done that already. And I'm going to focus on the challenge of negative growth for this playthrough and see how that goes. Real quick, I was going to note it's going to be a really common question from Thracia veterans. There's growth boosting scrolls in this game that increase your growth when you have them equipped. They will boost my growth as well, which means that it increases my chance of losing stats. So they just make it harder on me when I use them.
That's so rough.
It's really rough.
Don't hold them. The price of crit negation.
Yes. This is a really rough game in general. It has a reputation for being... Oops, get out of here. This has a reputation for being a really rough game. I actually don't think it's that hard when you're comfortable with it, and I really recommend you do, because this is an awesome game. If you've ever played Genealogy: The Holy War, and either you finished it or you didn't like it, but you're still familiar with the story, I highly recommend you try this game at least once, because it's so much fun. This is a good opportunity to get started on it and just kind of play along with me. Maybe play chapters before my episodes comes out and see the differences in how you would tackle things and how I tackle things. And you'll find that it's quite a breeze compared to how I'm playing it. I don't know, I had a lot of fun with this game.
For sure, and I will say too, you mentioned Genealogy. If you have not played Genealogy and you are interested in the lore and the story of Vigdral, definitely go and give that one a play. I will say, of course, this game will have some spoilers for that one.
Oh yeah.
But we're not covering the story super in depth, and I don't know. I think we usually try and keep like meme jokes about story spoiler stuff down to a minimum. I think you and I do. So
yes.
We're usually pretty good on that. I haven't recalled a time, but no. Definitely a great game to play for story. Genealogy: The Holy War is. So go ahead and give that one a go. But yeah, Thracia is good. I think I will. Not immediately, but I will also be actually replaying through Thracia as well, and probably trying to stay 1 or 2 chapters ahead of Mekkah as we go. I'm currently busy with some draft race stuff now, which you guys hopefully will get to see soon. But once we get to a point, yeah, I'll try and get a chapter or 2 ahead of Mekkah, and that way we can all share the experience of playing Thracia together.
The pain. And the pain as well. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So normally when I recruit new characters in my Let's Plays, I like to talk about them for a little bit, and I'm definitely planning to do that with these guys. But real quick, I mean, it's Thracia. I definitely agree with you what you said earlier. Like, you definitely need to play FE4, Genealogy: The Holy War, before you play this game, because I mean, it's a midquel, I guess. It's like a prequel, sequel kind of combination. It's like takes place in the middle of Genealogy, and the game has some pretty big spoilers for Genealogy: The Holy War. But like I said, if you tried Genealogy and you didn't like it all that much, but you're familiar with the story now because you tried it for a little bit, it's a good idea to just give Vigdral a go again with this game, because it really is worth playing, even if you haven't finished Genealogy.
That's right.
So I have a couple characters that we can talk about right off the bat, especially in the context of negative growths, and because Reyes is not as familiar with Thracia as I am, I thought it would be interesting if he gave his first impressions so far of the characters, and then I'll add on to it whatever is missing from my millions of playthroughs of Thracia.
I think so.
Here's some Leif for you.
I think so. So I'll just be completely upfront and honest with you guys. I've not beaten Thracia. I've played up to about chapter 14. Chapter 14 is the one with defense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. I played up through that map. And I know a thing or two about some of the units, and I know about the mechanics and whatnot, but I don't always have the context of the whole playthrough. So, who's my first impression of Leif? Well, he's not as good as Roy. No,
I knew you'd say that too. I knew you'd say that.
No, he's a pretty cool lord, actually. Very good. I mean, like, there's a lot of ways to offer utility with the way the supports work in this one. Supports being free, supports being actually quite meaningful with 10 points of hit, avoid, crit, and crit avoid, I think. And Leif provides it to a lot of people. Leif is definitely, like, got a lot of great utility all throughout the game. Unfortunately, this Leif, his stats are probably not going to be anything to write home about. I mean, this is literally as good as they're going to get, if I recall.
Yeah.
Promotions still increase stats, right? They don't decrease them?
Yeah, unfortunately, Leif's promotion isn't very good, but yeah, they do.
I mean, it still counts, right?
Yeah.
For sure. But, I mean, that's generally my first impression of Leif. I know that there's, like, a ton of utility. There's even, like, a bunch of utility weapons that he can carry that can make things easier for your team around him. In my opinion, actually, I think he's a really cool lord. I love using him, and I don't know. I just think he's cool. Supports are fun. What you think?
Yeah, so Leif is a unit that I've made a waifu video on because he's just so interesting. There's so many different facets about him that factor into how useful he is as a character, and some of them we'll probably be better off discussing as we go along. Lightbrand is the primary thing, the primary reasons why I think Leif is good. It's a personal weapon that has 60 uses and 1 to range, and it's a pretty rare thing for short uses in Fire Emblem in general, but Leif just has 60 uses straight off the bat, and you should use this weapon whenever it remotely conveniences you, because it casts magical damage from range, which will let him damage things that he usually wouldn't do a whole lot of damage to with the Iron Sword. And if you just try to like use him with Iron Sword, you're gonna be really disappointed because his bases are horrendous and his growths, they're like okay by Thracia standards, but they don't really get him anywhere. So you really want to be use the Lightbrand whenever you can. If you're playing Thracia normally, if you're playing negative growths like I am, then you want to use Leif as little as possible because he is a game over condition, and the more I level him up, the easier I will get a game over. The more easily I will lose characters.
I thought you said his growths weren't that good.
Yeah, they are not as good, but surprisingly when you play negative growths, they end up being better than you want them to be. So he'll lose stats fast and make himself vulnerable to like getting doubled or getting one-shot by things. Which even does sometimes in normal playthroughs too, because, I mean, the Iron Sword weighs 6 and he has 5 con, like he loses 1 speed.
Yeah, like, come on.
If you're not super familiar with Thracia mechanics, I don't really want to explain them all in depth right now, but one thing I do want to mention, for example, is this game, it's kind of like a fun hybrid between stuff that made Genealogy fun for me and stuff that made the GBA games fun. So for example, it has the GBA games' con system, where your weapons, the heavier they are, the more they reduce your speed, and you can offset that with your constitution. And this might also be a good time to point out that I am playing this on the newest version of the translation patch made for Thracia, which has a ton of quality of life features in it. For example, almost everything you see at the top right is, I don't think everything is new, but it looks a lot better than what it used to with old patches. Things like the Lightbrand properties being explained right here was not previously possible. Stuff like the skills having in-depth description, for example, what Leif's adept does, I don't have to explain it because you can see it on screen. It's super convenient. Weapon ranks usually weren't displayed in Thracia, but now you can not only see well, they were always displayed. Like we always knew Leif had seasoned swords, but what is new is that you can actually see how many weapon uses he's already done on his way to B. So, like in GBA, you can see he's at C and then 0 weapon experience. He can get more as he goes through the game, just like in GBA. So all that stuff is made possible by the team of Little Master. I really want to be appreciative of their efforts. And also thanks to Ultimage for supplying this version of the patch, which not only has the Little Master improvements, but also negative growth stuff on top of it. But yeah, Leif's utility is good. He's forced in every chapter. You want to use him. He's a leadership star at some points, not right now, but you have one which will passively increase everyone's hit and avoid. And if you want a more in-depth analysis on the I Made a Waifu video, you should check that out as well.
For sure. I think we could prattle on and on about Leif.
Yeah.
And how cool he is, but we're about to set a new world record for longest time without a player phase input. So I
know, right? I mean, this is a chill chapter 1 track. I don't mind it. But we should probably do analysis. I know some people watch these only for the unit analysis though, so that's why I want to do them proper.
Oh yeah, should we do them all at one go, or should we drip feed them? You know, like we got.
I know, right?
What did we do for FE6? I can't even remember.
I think we did make some inputs. We did make some inputs in between, but screw it.
Okay.
I just want to get these out of the way, and then we can actually play the game. So
we'll move Eyvel and talk about Eyvel.
Yeah, I want to do Eyvel last because she's so hilariously in this context. So how about we do Finn? Next?
Okay.
So what do you think of Finn?
Well, he's got a Brave Lance, man. Like, come on, dude. Like, need I say more? I definitely use him a lot for capture utility in the early game. I'm kind of a fiend for capturing, which I probably shouldn't be, right? Like, I don't need to spend 2 Brave Lances to sell an Iron Sword or something. Like, I can get away with not doing that, I think. But I don't know. I enjoy using the capture mechanic in the early game, and Finn is like definitely the best suited to that. I do know the Iron Sword thing is kind of interesting because I think all mounted units can dismount. When they dismount, they use swords or bows if they're open, right? Which I think is just super cool. I think that, like, I don't know, I just think it's super cool that the knights had to dismount, especially when they go indoors and they get to use swords. It's really neat. Like, I don't know, some cool visualization. You got this lance knight, but I don't know, they can scrap with a sword. It just warms my heart to know that he's a man of many talents, you know? I'm happy for him.
Yeah, Finn is definitely all about the Brave Lance and not a whole lot of other things, but the Brave Lance and the combination with him being mounted as well is super important because it allows him to capture just about anything due to the way that Constitution works. The game basically thinks that Finn has 20 con, and you can only capture units that are lighter than you, so the extra weight of Finn's horse allows him to capture just about anyone. And I mean, the Brave Lance, it's in the name, it's brave, so it hits twice. And that makes capturing very easy because capturing normally reduces your stats. I'll demonstrate how it works in like a second, because I'm definitely going to capture some enemies in this chapter. And he has Miracle, which isn't too relevant. Like if you're about to die and you're relying on Miracle to survive, which in this case is just like a luck-based thing. Sure, there's a good chance he will dodge thanks to Miracle, but you shouldn't really rely on it. But it's a nice extra safety insurance, or almost insurance, when he's like about to die and you're like taking a risk anyway. And he has a leadership star, so he, like Leif, later on provides, I want to say, yeah, it's 3% hit and avoid for everyone whenever he's deployed. So even if you're not attacking a single time with Finn throughout the map, it's still viable to deploy him, even in an indoor map, just for leadership star. I wouldn't always recommend it, but it's sometimes good. And also, he just has a really high base level and high stats. Like, he's just good statistically. So he's not quite a promote, but he's still almost as strong. That's why I really like him. I plan to use Finn as much as it takes in this game to promote him. And depending on how his stats work out in negative growths, that might be about it. But if he's viable for longer, then I might use him for longer. It will depend on a chapter-by-chapter basis, probably. But I can see a lot of Finn in this playthrough, for sure.
And I think that's the best part about negative growths, is you don't really have to be concerned about training up units for the next map. You can just kind of use whoever's good right now, you know, cross your fingers, you'll get something good for later. Because, like, you're not really in control of that, I can imagine.
No, usually it's the reverse. You're worried about using units because they will lose stats as you go along. They'll get worse. So you have to like bench them, which is, I mean, benching units itself isn't bad, but it's like, if you have a good unit like this guy, for example, it's like, should I use this guy right now because he will lose stats, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was about to say we gotta send him to go and get his axe, but like there's a soldier in the way. Gosh.
Opportunity cost.
No.
Do you like
Is
this
that
guy?
really what we do?
He seems
Oh,
good.
I love this. Come on, dude. Do you like Orson? What kind of a question is that? Of course I do. No, he's super awesome. I mean, we're about to see his personal weapon, and I'm sure there are like about as like many ways to pronounce the name as there are Fire Emblem players. Like, I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't know how to pronounce this axe. What do you call it?
Oh, I forgot what it's called in the latest patch. I think is it the Vogue now?
The Vogue?
Yeah, I think that's how it's spelled. We'll see it when we pick it up, I guess. Right now, he just has the good old Iron Axe, which gets the job done.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that one. Everyone knows how to pronounce that one. But
I know, right? So for the Uninitiated, Orson is super, super powerful because of the personal axe and also because Wrath. It's automatic counterattack whenever... automatic crit whenever he counterattacks, so if someone attacks him, they're probably dead. And, I mean, not attacking him doesn't help either because his player phase is also quite good when he gets his personal axe. But the automatic Wrath is like a big improvement from what Wrath is in other games. Like, it doesn't have to be on low HP or anything. He just needs to be fighting on enemy phase. That's something he does a lot anyway. So that because of that personal axe that he has, and just the good stats in general, the E rank axes you see here don't really matter all that much. He's 10 strikes away from D axes, which is enough to use the Brave Axe, which you also get in this chapter because Thracia is just that generous, so you can use that too. And his stats are like okay. His growths, fortunately for me, are not very good, which means that he might last a while. His base strength is kind of awful at 6, like for a fighter, you know, so there might be a point where he doesn't do a whole lot of damage anymore, but I do think I'll be using him a fair bit. I think he'll go through this weird kind of curve in negative growths where he starts off really powerful at his base stats, and he slowly declines because of his growth, and he'll get a big power spike because of promotion again, and then he'll start falling off again. And I'm wondering, you know, when he'll be, I think he'll be at his peak like right when he promotes, and I'm wondering how long that will keep up. But whenever I can get away with it, I will probably make use of him because he makes life so very simple whenever I use him.
Oh yeah, anytime you deploy him, just take advantage of the Wrath. That's super good. I will say too, you mentioned the Brave Axe, because we have a new character here, and the other guy, and he's very kind. He fetches Orson's second PRF. And no, I mean, like, Halvan's a cool dude, I guess. He's the workhorse. He's the everyman. I feel like he's like if you or me went in here. Like, how would you do? Except I don't have 7 strength. I probably got like 1 or 2. I play too much Fire Emblem. I don't go to the gym enough. But you know, I do love Halvan. He gets the Brave Axe. It's not a PRF. I will say there are a lot of PRFs in this game. Like Finn's Brave Lance we talked about. That's actually a PRF. You can't just trade that off to anybody. Only Finn can use it. Light Brand is a PRF. The Vouge, which we're about to get, is also a PRF. So like there's a lot of PRFs in the game. Just pay attention to them.
Yeah. But like I said, Halvan doesn't really have any. He just gets an axe that anyone can use, and unfortunately for him, it's a really good axe that other people want as well. So probably won't be seeing a whole lot of Halvan this playthrough. Other when I have to take a kill with someone that's not, you know, Eyvel, I might just take it with Halvan because I don't have long-term plans for him. The main thing that makes Halvan stand out is Vantage, which, just like Wrath, is always in effect. So whenever an enemy fights Halvan on enemy phase, he just attacks first, which is good when he has a Brave Axe, because it usually means he just smites them before he ever gets damaged. So it can be situationally useful, but there's generally better applications of the Brave Axe than that. So I generally don't make use of this combo too much. There's other ways you can take advantage of this as well. And I find Halvan's stats generally aren't super great. Thracia is a game with quite a bit of combat, but the combat-heavy sections, they don't really work super well for Halvan. It's really tough to explain without context, but you'll see later on that I find that Halvan has trouble with the tougher parts of combat, and then the not-so-tough part he can do, but no better than anyone else, if that makes any sense. So he doesn't really specialize in any kind of enemy type or anything, and he's never really great at anything. He does have a really high chance to crit on his second attack, thanks to that little thing at the top right. It says FCM. For him, that's a 4. Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's also an invisible stat normally that the patch visualizes. That means that your second attack has an X amount of times higher critical than normal. So, for example, Halvan normally would have, well, his crit says right there, it's 17. So the normal attack by Halvan is 17, but his follow-up attacks have 17 times 4, which is 68. So that's actually a really high crit rate for a generic dude with an Iron Axe. So you can imagine if you give him a Killer Axe, he would do quite a bit of damage. Unfortunately, there's not many axes that give high critical, like the Killer Axe. I think there's only one somewhat easily obtainable Killer Axe, and that kind of cuts into that utility a little bit. But these kind of combos with high FCM work very well. It's another reason why Orson is so good. He has an FCM of 3, and there's other characters that have high FCM as well. Most people have like 1 or 0 or maybe 2, but characters with like up to 5, like 4 or 5, can have really good crit rates. And that's something that Halvan can't stand out in if he gets his hands on a high crit axe. So that's kind of what he's good for sometimes.
That's why we're gonna level them up and use them long term, right? No,
Okay. So I could talk about Eyvel, but before I do, I'll just do this real quick.
Just demonstrate.
Let me just show instead of telling for a second. This is Eyvel right here. This is Eyvel in a nutshell.
Didn't he have like 8 attack against her 7 defense or something?
Something like it, yeah. Eyvel good.
Wow, okay. Yeah, no, she kind of good, turns out. Level 12 Sword Master, okay.
Yeah, did you have to contend with Eyvel?
Oh, no, I mean, like, I know she scored on her skills real quick. I wonder if they have that. I mean, I know it's an option enabled here to show, like, hidden personal skills.
Oh, yeah, I have that disabled, yeah.
You have that disabled, okay, so if you have it disabled, it won't bring it up. But if you want to bring it up, you totally can. Yeah, no, Eyvel's super cool. Sword Master pre-promote. And I mean, like, come on, dude. 20 speed. That's literally the cap. That's not her cap. That's the cap. Like, to be fair, it can go down in this one. You know, normally it just stays where it is, but I guess the 7 can go down. Actually, does she have a speed growth?
Let's find out. I don't know right now. I can look at Leif real quick. Let me see.
I was like, wait a minute, does she have a speed growth?
I actually would like to know that too. Yeah, she has 10% speed growth.
Oh, well, I mean...
She can get down to 12 speed if we get really lucky.
Yeah, well, goodness, I just looked at her growths. I mean, like, they're not much to write home about, but, I mean, this is clearly a basis of her growth unit, so... You know, she's level 12, man. Like, why are you going to be upset that a level 12 units and have the most amazing growths? Like, nah, just swing the Iron Blade.
Yeah. Let's go at it. I'm actually really happy that her growths are so awful because, you know, I'm playing negative growth, so I don't want units to level up very much. And something else I just demonstrated, probably not the thing you saw first, but she only gained 3 XP there because she's so over-leveled. So Eyvel is the perfect character for negative growths because, for one, her bases are really good. For 2, her growths are really bad. Her XP gain is very slow, and she also isn't around permanently. There's a huge portion of the game where she's not available, which means I can feed her kills as much as I want without feeling guilty about it. And that's very good because it means my other units get to stay at their highest possible stats for the portion of the game where she's not available. So I'm going to be gratefully using the stuff out of Eyvel for the entire early game as much as I can. There is one other unit that I want to use for a fair bit, but for the most part, it will be the Eyvel show, and I'm all here for it because I think Eyvel is awesome. I had an Iron Man playthrough once where I beat the entire game deathless and recruited everyone except for Eyvel. So that's why every Iron Man stream after that for Thracia became do it for Eyvel, because, you know, I was so sad I didn't actually manage to make her available again. But like I said, no spoilers. Also, it's a leadership star and some other mechanics that we'll probably go over at some point. But right now, I would like to actually play the game, so we should do that.
I think it'd be pretty good. I gotta say for a moment, you said a lot of words like availability, high base level, high base stats, low growth. I think this is just some elitist agenda to get everybody to play Thracia Mekkah. That's what it sounded like.
I mean, that's my whole channel. That's my whole channel's concept.
Oh, yeah. I only just figured this out, bro. Like, come on.
Why'd you have to roast me like this?
Yeah. Wow, 3 XP for a miss, too.
I know,
I mean,
right?
there's the Thracia XP formula is kind of funny, if I recall.
Yeah. You, whenever you fight, it doesn't matter if you counter or not, you gain the same amount of XP. The same as if you would have if you fought the enemy at all. So I'm gonna wait here to rat this guy.
Oh, sure. Is there a bonus for a kill or no?
There is a bonus for killing, which I'm about to show off with Finn right here. So I would like to capture some of these enemies for their good stuff. I'm gonna take the guy with the javelin and the what's it called, the vulnerary, real quick. So I'm gonna use the brave lance to capture him. Capturing is kind of funny. It's like forcibly rescuing the enemy, like kidnapping them, and it plays a normal round of combat, but it reduces all of your stats except for HP and luck, I believe, by half. So you don't see it very well here. You can't really show it. But because Finn is holding an enemy right now, it has the same effect on him, coincidentally. So this is roughly what Finn's stats look like in that battle. And what it just did is he won the fight in 1 round because he's awesome and he crit. But even if he didn't, he would have hit twice with the Brave Lance. And now he's captured the monster guy. And it's just like I rescued a fellow guy, a fellow friend. And if my friend Halvan here wants to, he can take the goods off of this enemy. Even trade them around thanks to what's called Thracia trade-off. And even though FE3 did it first, you can trade as many times as you want between units that are adjacent. And now we have his stuff, and now we have his stuff we can even take, and we can drop him, or rather we can release him, and he'll be good to go. So that's how you get stuff. Now that means that every enemy you can see on the map is technically available for capturing, as long as your unit has more build than the enemy. Like I said for Finn, he has a horse, so the game thinks he has 20 con, and this guy, for example, only has 9, so this poor guy doesn't stand a chance against Finn's horse. So I can capture enemies, take their weapons. If you're playing Thracia, I recommend not being too much of a magpie about capturing everything. It's very tempting, but you don't need all that many weapons to beat the game, so I wouldn't recommend it. I'm going to take some stuff in this chapter because I'm going to need a lot of money for my challenges in negative growths. Specifically, I need money for a specific shop later on, so I'm going to capture whenever the option is there, almost, as long as it doesn't take too long. Nice crit.
I mean, this is pretty much how a lot of Fire Emblem budgeting goes. It's like once you know how much you need, it's really easy to only get exactly how much you need.
Yeah.
Like, boy, the first blind playthrough, like, come on. You can't fault me for going to the Tower of Valmy a few times in preparation. Right?
No. This is true. Okay, we get 3 new units. Right
there we
here.
go. Oh, good timing. Look at that.
Perfect. I don't want to front load all the analysis on you guys right now, so I'm gonna leave these guys alone until chapter 2, and then we'll discuss these 3 there because we'll have less characters to talk about there.
We'll do their analysis chapter 2, which is a shame because I know that these 3 are like fan favorites of the whole series.
Oh, yeah.
If I recall.
For sure.
So.
Gonna count this guy real quick. I think something else they did on purpose is like you saw, for example, maybe Leif's Iron Sword has 40 uses. And then these enemies are mostly, they carry like, I would call them like Walmart weapons, like budget weapons. Like this guy's a short bow, only 20 uses. This guy's like a short lance, only 20 uses. I think that's on purpose because they know you're capturing this stuff.
Short bow, long bow. There's also like short sword, long sword, etc. too. Great sword, great lance. There's no such analog for axes, if I recall, but that actually does make sense because I did notice that these weapons existed. I was like, wow, that's so cool, but I never noticed that they were like almost primarily on the enemies.
Yeah. Move. Oh, what? Okay, interesting text
what?
box there. It's okay. My move is fine. My move is fine. I don't know what that text box was.
Oof.
That's
scared us for a moment.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a glitch text box. What? Yeah. They just mixed it.
We're gonna have a text box later that just says obtained. We're like, what did we obtain? A move minus stuff. So.
Thanks, Dad. Very cool. Yeah. That text box is there because you can lose move in this game, by the way, which is very exciting. Normally you can gain move, but you can also lose move if you're playing negative growth. Very cool game. But yeah, we got the I guess it's the Vouge. That's probably the better way to say it.
The Vouge.
1-2 axe, much better than the hand axe. I don't think we have one hand axe over here somewhere. I think dagger comes with one. Like just to compare real quick, this thing has 45 hit and 6 might and no crit, and it's like also weighs a metric fuck ton. And then here he comes in with the Vouge, a personal hand axe with 10 might, 80 hit, 30 crit. And I didn't point it out properly before, but Orson or Ocean has 3 FCM follow-up critical modifier. So whenever he double attacks, he's gonna gain a bunch of crit. He's gonna get like 90 crit out of the Vouge alone. So he crits just about everything with this weapon. And that means that when he doubles, which is quite a lot, he'll probably kill the enemy. Pretty useful.
At 9 speed, we got Myrmidon Ocean.
I'm gonna send Eyvel at the crowd here, and then we can use the villages as capture bait for the most part.
She would just like murderize all the soldiers. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like again, I don't want Leif to get XP because he'll get weaker and he'll be more vulnerable. I don't necessarily want Halvan to get XP. I don't necessarily want to train Tanya.
What do you anticipate these final levels will be at the end of the game?
Wait, who's final level?
Leif.
One promoted, I hope. I don't know. His promotion bonus is like a 1 all around, so it's not going to change a whole lot about him. I just know that his XP gain actually becomes better as he promotes, I think, which is not great. So normally you would use this promotion as like an opportunity to train him a lot, and I want to do the opposite. I want to keep him out of combat. Fortunately, by that time I will have more combat units than I'll ever need, so I'll hopefully be able to keep him out of combat for the most part.
All your combat units are going to be scrubs, though.
For sure. Okay, I'm going to cap this guy as well because he's a vulnerary. I'm probably going to forget to mention this, but all vulneraries in this game are elixirs, so they just heal you to full. So they're super valuable. They're also like still fairly cheap to get, and a lot of enemies can carry them, so it's nice to get a couple of them. You don't need a whole lot, but it's nice to have a couple sitting around ready to use. Marty and Dagger are very buff, so they can help with the take dropping that I've been doing with Halvan earlier. That's a very useful purpose for them. Release me at once. And actually, I have another idea of what I want to do. First, I'm going to kill this archer. I think I'm going to leave. I've never been able to get Orson back into the village in time to be meaningful, so I'm just going to leave him at the village. And everyone else can kind of chill at the back, too. I'm not planning to go for any kind of ranked LTC, whatever. I'm just going to chill here.
No, you have to LTC the map. That's fine. That's the first non-elitist thing you've said since starting this stream.
Oh, bro, don't give me that.
No, I'm kidding.
I've tried so hard to get rid of my reputation, and here you are accusing me of being exactly what I am. How dare you?
Your stigma. No. No, I mean, like, again, the whole goal of this is like, hey, let's play some Thracia and show some people. It ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. You say that now, and then like 18 chapters in, we're like, oh boy, it is that bad. Oh, Steel Axe Marty?
I have an idea.
Oh boy. Oh no.
I don't know if it'll work though. Okay. He does
Chip with the
6.
javelin. 6. Down to 16. That's 18.
6. That's not enough with the Iron Axe, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
14.
Foiled again. Okay, we're gonna have to... maybe this? That works.
Can we...
This works. This works.
Ooh. Oh, true. I see it. Watch this crit anyway.
Oh, yeah, probably. Like, no doubt. No doubt about it. Don't do it, Finn.
Oh.
Thank you. Okay.
I was like, it doesn't have adept, does he? That's someone else, I'm sure.
I'll get into why next chapter, but I think there's viable reasons to actually want to train Marty.
I think I know the reasons why. The moment we look at his stat screen, we'll know why.
There are motivations behind this move that surpass my brain in its power.
About a week ago, you actually brought up this idea, like, hey, we're going to do Thracia negative growth. So I've had some time to mull it over, and I was actually thinking, man, I think Marty might actually be pretty good in this format.
Yeah, unironically.
We'll get into why maybe next chapter.
If you've watched my streams, you might be if you watch the streams that I've done in this playthrough, you might be a bit confused as to why Marty is suddenly viable. The reason is because a certain bug has been fixed. I'll spoil that much for my good old veterans in here.
Oh, I don't know the bug. I'm actually looking forward to it then. Also, we have Thracia victory music. Can you explain to me when does the victory music come on?
I think it's just like GBA. The game is just more generous with it. Ooh, that's a profitable miss potentially there.
Ooh, Marty training.
Marty train. This is all just Marty training. Oh, there we go. That's some chip XP for him. Beautiful. Okay, Marty, let's get him. I would maybe like to get this short lance actually. So I would like to kill this guy. Maybe we can still be done.
Yep, with Tanya. I think Tanya can afford the EXP.
Come on.
No, Tanya
don't you do it. Don't do it. No, you Tanya. No. Why would you? Why are you like this, Tanya?
Was she in the support range or no?
Technically, yeah, but you're supposed to blame the game. Oh, well,
true.
This guy. We can capture him with Marty though, because his hit rate while capturing is the same as not capturing.
you might as well capture, right? Oh no! I mean,
the Marty experience, honestly.
It wasn't the 76 hit.
Okay, whatever. Grab this, I guess. Weapons can.
Iron Sword.
Iron Sword move decreased.
we gotta get used to that, I guess.
That's funny. It's probably an easy fix, but I don't know exactly when I'm getting a fixed patch, so we'll just enjoy it while it lasts.
In addition to negative growth, every time you visit a village, your move decreases.
I'm down for it. I totally tested the heck out of this, for sure.
It's like Death Mode FE8, but on steroids. Every time you visit a village or open a chest, your move decreases.
Let's go, Marty. Come on. There you go.
Woo!
We did it right.
Kill.
It's a one-hit wonder. Okay, I will spoil. I think Marty's about to level up. I know he has a 15% strength growth. I hope I don't get it. Hopefully.
15% strength growth.
15% of the time. It goes wrong all the time.
Finn,
please, don't be like this. We're just trying to get Marty kills here.
RNG is so good. These are the same RNs that would have given us level ups, alright? Like, we gotta be happy.
Yes. Okay, get this house. Halvan is the only one who can get this Brave Axe because his sister lives here. So get this Brave Axe move decrease.
I was about to say, like, we're complaining about getting too many crits. It's like the game is just trying to help us out. They want us to get less XP.
Something else that I forgot to mention that I don't think has mattered yet. Okay, it actually has mattered yet. Let me show something. Map data, detail. Now my units have HP bars that you can actually see on the map. So you can see that Marty is injured and you need to heal him urgently or else he'll die. Horribly.
That's cute.
Again, now the original. And that was a Vigor Star or Movement Star. Every character has 0, 1, or up to 5 of these. And for every star you have a 5% chance to move again, like this happens. So basically, like a unit dances for themselves, if you need another game's analogy. So Dagger did that. You can only proc once per unit per move-ish. Like you can proc it 4 times in the turn if you get a dance or something, or 2 times in the turn, whatever. But the point is, generally, you have a chance to move again. Nothing you can rely on, but just a funny little gimmick because Kaga loves some RNG. Dagger's one of these. Eyvel has 2 of these, so she has a 10% chance to move again. I think Leif has one of these. These nuts, yeah, he has a 5% chance. That's about it for the characters in this map. We'll probably get more.
That's gotta make it fun to LTC, I can imagine.
Yeah, I remember Don on 40% growth run, he turned them off. Here's another fun feature I would like to show off, which is Thracia gates. The combat menu for these games, you have noticed already, are a bit more primitive than the ones for GBA. You have to actually subtract their defense from your attack. So for example, Eyvel has 21 attack, this guy has 19 defense, so only do 2 damage. Whereas if he's 6 and onwards, the game does the math for you.
There's a good reason. There's a good reason for it here because of the way that crits work. Crits are just double attack power. So if you only saw the attack minus defense, you would be obscuring that amount of information. So
yeah, absolutely good point. I will say there is a patch being worked on or finished by a guy named Zane. He's figured out a way to make it display the way you're used to. That will obscure the information that Raisin just mentioned. So whether you want to use it is maybe questionable. I generally feel like whenever you get a crit, you're probably killing, depending on the situation. Not in this one, of course, so there's exceptions. But usually, I would find the regular forecast more useful. But I'm so used to calculating like that I'm not really bothered by it anyway.
No.
The actual thing
I've learned some grade school arithmetic, I'm sure.
Yeah, it helps, right? It also, but it can be a little bit too used to calculate sometimes, so I'll admit that, especially if you're used to it. The other thing I wanted to mention is this guy's 19 defense, right? I think that's a lot. That's because this is a gate that gives 10 defense. So the guy only actually has 9 defense as an armor knight, so he's a bit more scrubby than his train lets him on. But thrones and gates are very, very annoying to fight in this game. Fortunately, they do not give 10 res, so if you use the flame sword, for example, which is another one of those magical swords like the light brand, he actually has 0 res, because I guess something else we should probably mention. Magic in this game doubles as res. There is no res stats, so it is both your magical offensive power as your defensive power. So if you're increasing your magic like the flame sword does by what is it, like 5, like it says here, gives +5 magic, you can, how do I put this, it increases both your offensive potential as well as your defensive potential, so it can be useful both ways, which is one of the most interesting things about Thracia in my opinion.
Yeah, it makes Pure Water very funny too.
Yeah.
You know, suddenly becomes super nuke.
Oh yeah, Pure Waters are going to be very valuable in this game, because it's one of the few ways to actually increase my stats. Same goes for the equivalent of the barrier staff.
Other way. Oh, true. Oh, 76? There
yeah, we also had 76 hit with the Iron Blade, so coincidence, I think not.
To say, we should have used that one.
I think Dagdar supports Marty, come to think of it. I'm not entirely sure. I think... Oh, there he just moved off the thing. Okay, that's convenient.
So we really are for sure training Marty then, huh?
Well, I mean, unless you want to see Eyvel kill everything, literally everything, we might as well try, right?
True. I was thinking it's like, I mean, my idea I had was just like a total meme. I'm like, this is highly dubious, but...
I think there's... I mean, I don't want to like guarantee that I'm going to deploy Marty for a lot of chapters, but I have nothing better to do right now, so we might as well Marty party.
That's true.
Oh, Marty getting slim. These are his highest growth though, so that's fair, that's valid.
That happens. We gotta get used to that.
Okay, this is actually something I would like to have. Take and release.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a more moderate weapon so that we're not just like consuming the Brave Lance.
Yeah. I don't mind consuming the Brave Lance for almost everything. You can, but I've run out at the end of the game, like before the game was over before, so it would be nice not to have use for everything. There's actually a specific use for the what's it called? Like the non-Brave Lances later on that I would like to demonstrate later. So I definitely want at least one of Javelins and Short Lance, but not super picky on which. I have both now though, so it's nice. It'll also make it easier to set up kills for Marty, because in case you haven't noticed, a lot of my units are one-running enemies when I don't want them to. Let's have him come to us. And that shop,
use a wrath.
Yeah, I think that shop only sells like vulneraries and iron swords, so it's not really worth visiting. You also start with no gold in this game, by the way.
I think it only sells vulneraries even, so...
Yeah. It's
like you may be right, it might sell iron swords.
Well, there's only one way we can know.
Oh,
The only phones. Tension. I might
You can
sell
sell
some of my
iron
stuff
swords.
later. Yeah. This game does have a prep screen where you have an armor later on, so you don't have to worry about selling sprees like in FE6, fortunately. Oh, I should have captured it. It's
Oh, yeah. That's fine. We're good.
And we
well, that's the
can get
map.
life ring.
Well, oh, true. We need to get the life ring.
Yeah. Just an angelic robe.
Another move decreased.
Yes. I don't know if I've mentioned explicitly, but I'll just say it again just to make it clear. Stat boosters work like normal. Like the growth, like whenever you level up, you decrease your stats, but everything else works like normal. So in this case, increase your HP by 7, that's actually what it does. So very valuable. I'm not entirely sure what to use it on yet. I need to think about it a little more. I don't remember what I used it on in my streams. It might be good on Leif just to prevent him from dying. It might also be good on someone I'm actually using for combat a lot. Like, I don't know, Dagdar will probably be good for that. I don't have plans to use it on Eyvel for reasons that I'm sure you'll know when you've played the game. And this is like other units I'm considering as well. So I'm going to hold on to it for now and just do a nice old seize. Because I think we've done everything we really need to do. I guess I can get the Brave Axe over to Dagdar real quick. That's probably prudent.
I think that's a wise move.
And you can have the whatever. Can you use any of this? Whatever, just stay weaponless for now. It's fine. Marty's more important anyway.
Like, maybe not.
Oh, let's put an iron sword on Eyvel. I can do the next chapter though. It's fine. I'm gonna use Leif's iron sword actually. There you go. Thanks. Very cool. Very helpful.
Slow me down.
Can't. What was it? Can't stop me down. I don't remember what the song goes.
Yeah, I kind of. We didn't visit the secret shop in the North Center though. So.
Shit, I forgot. Damn it. Well, that's something you can do in your own playthroughs. So.
Oh, we don't have the member card though. So.
Crisis averted.
Close one.
Well, that's it for today. We'll see you next time. Enjoy Thracia. Peace.
We'll see you next time.